Hey y'all. So this story time was titled I Fucked Up Because I Fucked Up. Those of you guys that know me, or at least by my videos now, you guys know like I don't have any issue taking accountability for why I messed up at. And I always try to end my videos with like a lesson, like what I learned, even if it was like, you know, a horror story. So the way that this started was there was a young lady, and she had come to me before. She come to me before, she booked with me before, she had referred a couple people to me. But her herself, she booked an appointment about a month in advance, and she had ordered some hair. And during this time, a lot of my orders were behind due to like customs. Even now, those of us that sell hair, we know, like you guys can attest to the fact that like hair, like when we would order from our vendor, our hair would normally get here in like 2 days. Sometimes it takes anywhere from like a week to 2 weeks to get here. So she booked the service with the bundles included, and I had ordered her hair, but I still needed to color it for her. And the bundles were still in transit when, I want to say like maybe about a day or two before her appointment. And so I reached out to her and I let her know like, hey, this is such and such. Your bundles are still in transit, unfortunately. And I remember like telling, so usually what I do is if a client orders like hair, like let's say that it's a weave especially. If I don't have any hair on my person, I will usually offer them like an alternative service until, free of charge, until their hair gets to them. So like for instance, one of my regulars, the same situation happened. Her hair was scheduled to be there, I believe that morning, and it got delayed. It got delayed like a day. So what I did was I reached out to her, let her know what was going on, and she was like, oh, that's fine, I'll just take a ponytail then. So we did like a cute little braided ponytail, and then when her bundles got there, we just did that next service. I know that that's not everybody's cup of tea, or like, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of stylists that are giving me the side eye, but I do that because number one, these clients are spending like upwards of almost $1,000 with me. And, you know, it's my way of saying, hey, I do care. I understand that, you know, obviously you booked this service with the understanding and the intent of not having to worry about anything. And what if this client has something important going on? I don't want them to just have to sit there and wait with no hair. I'd rather give them a service where they're still walking around feeling cute, and then when their bundles come in, they can get their weave. But that way, all they're already paying for, because when I do any service that I have where like the weave is, the bundle hair is included, they pay for that in full, so they pay for that up front, so their whole service is already paid for. So I kind of look at it for myself like it's the least that I could do, right? So back to her. I reached out to her and I told her like, hey, this is a situation. And she was like, okay, well, I ordered this hair a month ago. And I was like, you know what, I do apologize, you know. I said, but I am like, you know, if you want to get a different service until your bundles come, that's perfectly fine with me. So she was like, well, that's fine. She said, well, how much time do I have? And I said, well, you have about 4 to 5 hours, because like I said, it was supposed to be, she booked for color, the install, and I think it was like curls or something, but it was a reason why the whole service was that long. And so I said, well, you kind of got me all day, so what do you want? So she was looking through things and she was like, I want this. So she was saying that she wanted like some spring twists. And I was like, okay. So I agreed to it because she spent like $700 with me, guys. And so I agreed to it, but then I remember asking her like, okay, so do you want to reschedule the weave appointment? Like, you want to book the weave appointment further out? Or like, you know, and she was like, no, like I'll just wear these until whatever. You got to think, so she's getting a head full of like twists, and then is going to turn around on a Monday and get a weave installed. Like, I just personally, I felt like it was too much on her head. I felt like she could have waited, but she explained to me like I really wanted my weave. And I'm like, okay. My thing is, I'm still trying to go above and beyond to make sure that my client knows, like, I'm not here to waste your time, not trying to get over you, nothing of the sort. I just want to make sure that like you're good, you know? Lady that every time her and I spoke, she was extremely aggressive with me. But I would try my hardest just to not take it personal. So with this particular appointment, I could completely understand her frustration. But the energy was so thick that I felt myself, you know, kind of on pins and needles and walking on eggshells with her. So I remember like I was running a couple minutes late. I did text her and let her know that I was running late, and she's like, okay, well, I'm already here. But everything was just kind of like, okay, well, are you here? How far are you? And I'm like, okay, well, I told you I was running 15 minutes behind. Like, it hasn't been 15 minutes, but I'm on my way. I didn't forget about you, et cetera, et cetera. So I get there, I greet her, hey, I'm so sorry for being late. Thank you so much for waiting for me. And she's like, oh, no, I understand things happen. But, like sometimes too, and like, once again, I want to keep saying that I do understand her frustration. But there are times where our words say one thing and our energy says another. So I knew that she wasn't happy with me, rightfully so. So we get in there, I wash her, I do her hair, or I start her hair, whatever. And we're watching like 85 South. I'm trying to kind of lighten the energy, right? So we're laughing and things like that, but I'm noticing that like while I'm doing her hair, she was side-eyeing me. So like, hairstylists know, like, we can feel certain stuff. We're touching you, so we can feel your energy. And once again, I'm trying not to take all of this personal, but there's a part of me that just kind of feels bad because I'm like, damn, like, I'm trying to make the situation right, but maybe this ain't working, Now, what I should have done, and this is why we need to listen to our first mind, what I should have done from the very beginning was apologize for the inconvenience and just refund sis all her money. But I really did want to make the situation better. But for myself, I made the situation worse for myself, trying to make the situation better and trying to avoid conflict or confrontation with my client. In this particular case, it would have just been a lot easier to say, you know what, I'm so sorry, I messed up, I dropped the ball here, but I'm going to go ahead and refund you, because this is not your fault. And in trying to rectify the situation, I ended up doing double the work for nothing, because I ended up having to refund her anyway. So, what happened was, so I did her hair. I want to say like we were in there from like maybe like 9:45 to 1. I did her hair. When she left, she was like, oh, this is cute. I like this, whatever. But then like, I want to say maybe about 5 that evening, she was like, okay, well, I got a question. If the hair is supposed to come on Monday, how are we going to dye it? Yada, 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 yada. And I was just like, well, give me a second. I'm just now leaving the shop. And once again, I can understand because I've now created the space for her to not trust me. I have to acknowledge that, right? Because I dropped the ball. But it was just a lot of like, how are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? Why are you not answering me? I should be able to get in contact with you when I need to. It was just a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. And so I found myself, like I said, like kind of tiptoeing around her. I found myself trying, like, I'm driving, trying to answer her back because she's so aggressive in her texting. And I'm like, I've already pissed this girl off. I don't want to piss her off even more. And so I think she hit me, like, whenever I wouldn't respond to her, she would hit me with question marks. And so I responded back. And I remember at one point I said, look, I just got home with my kids. I'm cooking dinner. My responses are probably not going to be as consistent, but I just want you to know that I'm not ignoring you. Well, I just asked you a simple question. All you have to do was answer me about Monday. And so I sent her a screenshot of the messages and was like, I was getting to that. So I went to like explain to her. Now at this point, honestly, I was so like anxious that I can't remember exactly what I was getting ready to say to her. But I think there was a part of it that was just like, look, we can do this, this, and this. But for the sake of your hair, we've already done these twists. I don't think that it would be smart to take a head full of these tight ass twists down pretty much and then sew a weave on top of it. But at the end of the day, the client booked for a certain service. I did not provide said service. I provided her with something else. So like I said, she has all rights and reasons to question what's going to happen, when is it going to happen, etc. And then like I spoke about this in a previous video, that a lot of the time, just like hairstylists, we have PTSD. Clients have PTSD from other providers as well. So I probably didn't make her situation any better. I probably proved her point about other stylists, So, I don't remember exactly like the back and forth, but I do remember at some point telling her like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and refund you for your service because, I did try to rectify the situation. I acknowledge that I messed up, but I am not able to make you happy. And I just feel like I'm walking on eggshells around you at this point. And so I was unprofessional and all of those things, rightfully so. I get it, I understand. But I was kicking myself in the ass because had I listened to my first mind, or I could have even now that I'm thinking about it, what I should have done was I should have reached out to her and said, hey, you know, the hair is still behind. What would you like to do? Would you like a complete refund, or would you like to just wait until the hair gets here? I could have saved myself a whole world of trouble. Where I messed up was, usually when situations happen, like I said, my way of rectifying it is usually just giving a client a complimentary service for the delay on my end. And the majority of my clients are happy with that. They're pleased with that. They usually are like, thank you so much, because nobody else does this. But I made the mistake of assuming that this young lady was going to react to me like everybody else. So in the end, I ended up refunding her $700. I ended up offering a $250 service for free. I ended up giving away 4 hours of time. It just was a whole lot that I didn't have to do had I listened to my first mind. And then later on, I remember, like, you know, because I ended up explaining to her, like, hey, this is how the refund policy works. If it doesn't come, like, if the money doesn't return back to your bank in so many days or whatever, like, call your bank and have them deal with it. So I don't exactly know what happened in the process. And like I said, I'm going to keep saying this. I fucked up. So I caused all of this mess, right? So I want to say maybe about a month later, I wake up to a comment that was posted maybe like 1 a.m, that earlier that morning. And it was like, this bitch is unprofessional. This bitch is a scammer. She stole $700 from me. She gave me this punk ass hairstyle that wasn't even cute, and yada, 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 whatever. Now, I don't argue with clients. I don't go back and forth on social media. So I made it a point to reach out to her myself. And I said, hey, you know, I first and foremost want to apologize for your experience, because this is not how I do things, you know, and I just want you to know that I've made the necessary changes so that no one else has the same experience that you have. So I do want to apologize for that. I said, I did see your comment. I said, so am I to understand that you did not get your money back? And she was like, hey, no, I didn't. And I said, okay. I said, well, because she had accused me on social media of creating a fake receipt. And I was just like, well, I do want to, you know, actually confirm with you that this is not a fake receipt. Is this not the last 4 digits of your card? Yada, yada, yada. She was like, well, yeah, all of that. I said, well, did you contact your bank? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, what happened when you contacted your bank? And she was like, they said that they didn't see a refund. Okay. So I told her, I said, you know what? Give me a minute. I'm going to get in contact with my payment processor and see what happened. Of course, when I said, give me a minute, sis gave me a little minute, but I get it. Like, bro, you, like, it, from her perspective, it looked like, bro, you're holding my money. You're holding $700. Ain't nobody got $700 just be throwing at nobody. I get it. Mind you, I also realized all the anxiety started to come back. So in that moment, it was just like, okay, let me make sure that this situation is fixed and closed out, so that I'm not put in this position again, right? And so that sis can get her money back and not have to worry about it. So I contacted the payment processor, spoke to them, and also requested that they send me an email transcript of our conversation, so that my client was able to see that, like, no, this was here, here, and here. So the lady did verify, the technician did verify that, no, we did indeed send the payment, issue the refund on this and this day to this card, ending in blah, 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 blah. But we will reach out ourselves to the bank once again and see what's going on. So I told her that, and she was like, okay. I said, but if it doesn't happen that way, please, whether it's refunded or it's not refunded, please reach out back to me and let me know what's going on. So I don't know exactly what happened with the bank. I don't really work on that end, but she did contact me a couple of days later and let me know, like, hey, I just want to let you know that I received my money. I was like, great, thank you so much for letting me know. I do apologize again. And she was like, you know, I do apologize for how I went about things. You know, I was angry. And I just said, you know what, shit happens. Like, you know, I kind of messed this one up, so I get it. So the purpose of me telling this story is, play as fuck up, right? We fuck up too. I always tell people, like, yes, I have all these stories. Yes, the majority of my clients, about a good 99.99% of my clients, are pleased and happy with me. But that doesn't mean that I haven't messed up. It doesn't mean that I'm just this perfect person that never makes a mistake. No, I make mistakes too. But, you know, it's what do we learn from this? You know, I always say, like, stylists want clients to look at us as humans. Okay, well, we have to bring the human aspect back into it, right? We have to treat clients like they're humans too. It's okay to say I fucked up. It's okay to say I dropped the ball. But what did we learn from that? Did we learn from that? There's so many clients that have come to me over the years where I know, like, if you came to me in 2012, baby, I was going through some shit. thank you for sticking around in 2022, 10 years later, you know? So, you know, it's not about, if you fuck up, you fuck up. It's about what did you learn from that? Are you doing better? So at least with this young lady, like, no, we probably will never do business again. And I completely and totally understand it. I think it's a mutual understanding on both sides. But, you know, I hope that if sis is even seeing this, that she knows, like, I learned from that. I understand that I am the cause for that entire situation. And not only did I make stuff harder on you, I made stuff harder on myself. And it just wasn't a good way to go about things. But I did learn from that, you know? So that was my TED Talk for that. So thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. If you guys like my content, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I pray that you guys have a beautiful day. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.